Welcome to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast, connecting real people with expert advice to achieve a healthier lifestyle and live a more fulfilling and abundant life. Here is your host, Coach Tavia.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. And I have another amazing guest this week, and I am so excited to bring on someone, a dear friend of mine that we met a few years ago, Mr. Michael Zappia. Hello, how are you?
I am well, Tavia. How are you?
Good. So guys, this is going to be a special treat because, I always like to bring the best to you. And some of my guests are all extra special in different ways. But this one, I'm a little bit special because I love the Seahawks. And if you're a Seahawks fan out there, Mr. Michael, one of the things I love about him is because he's a former Seahawks. Go Hawks. Woohoo.
Yeah.
But that's not just why you're on today. That's not just why you're on. But Michael and I actually met, we met a couple years ago. It's been about 3-4 years ago now, huh?
It's been 3 years.
About 3 years ago. Yeah. And we met through a mutual friend in a network marketing company, and Miss Colette. We love her. And we sat down and had lunch together, and we were talking all business. And I was just amazed by Michael, his what he brings to the world. And why I brought him on today is exactly what we're going to talk about. And he is an entrepreneur. He's creative. He is a nonconformist, we'll say. He breaks the rules when it comes to stepping outside of comfort zones. Not only has he built some amazing businesses, and he's stepping into another amazing, journey, if you will. And we'll talk about towards the end. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for this because you might want to get your hands in or a piece of the pie of this. So anyways, without further ado, again, hello, welcome. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good. So we're going to dive right in. So like I said, we met 3 years ago with some other amazing entrepreneurs out there. And at the time you were building a company, a network marketing company, right? And from there, things have kind of shifted and turned and some ups and downs like any business, right? But what I want to talk to you about, Michael, is how you went from football player, athlete. Guys, he's an athlete. He's an author. He's an actor, written a book. There's many players you've done in the world, in your life. And I'm trying to wrap my head around like all the pieces of Michael, or we call you Zap. People call you Zap.
You can call me Michael or Zap. I'm cool with either. Yep.
Okay. So I want to talk, the reason again, I brought you on here is because you have such an interesting and diverse background. You're not, like we said, the nonconformist way. You're someone that has stepped outside of the box and said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a 9-to-5er. I'm not going to just do, let's fast forward. Okay. So we went, and he's got the football flying, guys. For the ones that aren't watching, you can go to YouTube. He's flying the football around.
I spin the ball in my hand all
Throw
day
it
long.
to me.
I knock things over. I played quarterback in high school, so I was a pretty good quarterback.
Oh, you played QB in high school. Okay, cool. So where were you? Okay, let's go back. So you were raised in Buffalo, you said?
Yeah, born in Buffalo. And you alluded to the fact that I have a little bit of a problem. I've got a lot of things that I love and I was attracted to when I was little. So for me, from a young age, it was sports right away. The Buffalo Sabres and the Buffalo Bills were my hometown team. So I watched hockey season and football season. And then when I wasn't watching the games, I was out in the street or out in the park or out on the rink playing hockey and football. I got into basketball and I played soccer at a really young age, which is what developed my leg strength. But then there's a lot of things about me. I guess I'm fortunate or blessed in this way. I have a lot of interests, a lot of hobbies, a lot of maybe talents, as a lot of people would say, but I love to sing. I love to play the guitar. I love to draw. As an illustrator and a graphic designer in school. And I went to college for illustration. I like doing cartooning, caricatures. And so I'm very creative. So I have a very creative side. And then I've got the athletic side magic. I studied magic. So I've got a lot of things, acting, singing. So I'm intrigued by a lot of things, and I've always wanted to be an entertainer. So
yeah, I'm kind of like that too. Are you a Libra? No.
No, you almost have me. I'm kind of in between Leo and Cancer right at the end of July. So.
Oh, that's right. You just had your birthday. Okay. Happy belated birthday. So, okay. So let's talk about that. So what would you say is, okay, who is Michael Zappia? Who do you define yourself by then? You just said you have a lot of things out there. Who are you? Tell the folks who you are, what you do.
I'll answer this a little bit differently because I just had somewhat an epiphany. I'm a path changer. And one of the concepts, I coined that word. I know path is a word and changer is a word. I coined the word path changer in the year 2005. And I'll take you back to a story way before that. When I was in school, and even all those years I played sports, all I really wanted to do was make my parents proud.
Yeah.
That was it. I love to compete and I love to play. But for me, the excitement was seeing mom and dad, if they were going to attend my games, which they very rarely did because they worked too many jobs to be able to attend my games in school. But my goal was to always just make my parents proud. So I always wanted to, it was more about other people, believe it or not, than it was myself. Yes, I wanted to achieve success, but I always wanted to make my friends, my family, and everybody proud. And then I coined the concept called Path Changers in 2005 because 2 years prior, a perfect stranger walked up to me and changed my path. Wow. And I always give that man credit. His name's Warren Rosegreen. I give it to him like he gets credits in a book or writing a song, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be here on the screen today. He was a perfect stranger who came into my life for a moment, and he pointed me down a new path. And that new path led to me becoming very successful and growing and learning how to be an entrepreneur. And I give him all the credit. So when he did that for me, I always said to myself, I want to do for others what he did for me. I want to be significant and instrumental in other people's lives. And I want to be able to take them down a new positive, radical change in direction in their life. So that's what Path Changers is. And if you had to ask me like you did, who am I? I'm a path changer. That's all I want to do is be, just make a difference in other people's lives.
I love it. Yeah, that's a big word and a lot, very symbolic. Very symbolic too. Very symbolic. So you're a path changer. So I love that. So I feel that we need a lot more path changers in this world, especially right now, going through a lot in the world. The world is kind of a crazy place, in my opinion, right now. So we need more Michael Zappias out there for sure. And you're doing your part, you're doing that ripple in the water effect. So right now, let's go back a little bit. So we'd have a football background. From football, moving full force. You didn't go into the 9-to-5 job. Is that what we're talking about here? We decided that guy changed your life and you decided you want to be an entrepreneur. Boom, like that. Tell me about that.
I've always hated jobs. I mean, I've always had jobs. And the ironic thing is I love to work. I'm a workaholic. I mean, I don't know how to do something halfway, or I don't know how to show up somewhere for 8 hours and then go home and get back to my life. I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset since I was younger. So no matter what job I took when I was younger, whether it was cutting down trees and lifting tree stumps and throwing branches in a chipper, or mopping floors at the local pizzeria, or working in a warehouse, a grocery store warehouse, and lifting heavy, boxes onto a pallet and stacking it high and shrink wrapping it. And Tavia, you could talk to me till midnight about all the jobs I've had in my life in my early years. Yeah. But when I got to college and I had a chance to make it in the NFL, I did everything in my power to not have a job, because I always just imagined me becoming successful at what I set my mind on. And then I would make a lot of money and invest my money. Unfortunately, it didn't happen with football, but then I got into business and I became my own boss by getting involved with network marketing. Okay. I fell in love with word of mouth advertisement and building a team and building a group and creating a residual income that comes in whether you work or don't work. My dream is to be lazy as heck on the beach in Kauai and still making 10, 20 times more money than the average person makes, but I get to just chill and do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. So have I avoided the word job for a long time? Absolutely.
Yeah. 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 So for listeners out there too, most people know network marketing companies, and I would say some people have a negative connotation against network marketers. They call them, the MLM. And for the old school, a lot of people think of Amway, they think of the Amway days. And back then they kind of were the pioneers of the 70s and 80s. They kind of rolled that. But I want to take it a different direction, because network marketing doesn't necessarily mean bad. It doesn't mean salesy. It doesn't mean any of that. Network marketing came into place for a reason. And that is because a lot of these companies have amazing products. They just don't do well on a shelf. You just can't put them on a shelf. A lot of these have science and, all of that, right? So what was your first experience, I guess, in network marketing? What drove you? What was the company? What was, I'm just kind of curious,
I'm unlike most people. I don't have a negative connotation. I don't have a stigmatism. And I think it all depends on your story. I think it depends on your paradigm and your experience with the profession. So I love the question. I'm passionate about answering this question. When I was 15 years old, my aunt was an Avon lady.
Oh yeah, Avon.
And for you ladies out there, you know what Avon is: lipstick and makeup and whatever it is Avon sells. Well, I was her nephew who used to, on Saturday morning, travel around the neighborhoods and drop off Avon books on certain houses' doors. So
that's awesome.
At 15, I got a taste of what direct sales was. That's direct sales.
Direct sales. Yeah.
And nobody ever said that my aunt was going to go to jail or she was doing anything illegal by telling my aunts and my sister and my cousins about this makeup she'd sell. And my aunt would have all the Avon stuff on her table, and on the weekend, she'd be stuffing the bags with everyone's product. And she seemed to have a good little enterprise. And my aunt, I love my Aunt Joyce. She was always very entrepreneurial, one of the only entrepreneurial people in my family. So at a young age, I saw that and said, that's really cool. My Aunt Joyce is an Avon lady. That was my first experience. At the age of 16, I had a good friend of mine named Tavia, come to me and say, hey, we're going to a meeting tonight. We're going to make a lot of money. I said, where are we going? I was 16 years old. At 16, you don't even think about making a lot of money, but it sounds really cool. Yeah. And we went to a meeting for a company called Cutco Knives.
Oh yeah. I love Cutco.
It's a company that still to this day has the best knives I've ever
Amazing.
cut with in my entire life. Scissors that can cut a penny into a corkscrew. I mean, the best knife set you can buy is Cutco Knives. I don't work for them anymore. So find a Cutco knife independent representative near you and buy yourself a set of knives. They're incredible. So that was my second experience. And I sold 2 sets of knives, one to the aunt I just told you about, another set to my Aunt Philomena. I sold 2 sets of knives and I quit because it was too much work for me. I was not ready to work. I still wanted to play. I didn't want to all the time. So at the age of 18, I got prospected into a company called Excel Communication. Oh, yeah. I brought the box home to my mother, and my mother said, Michael, you can't be involved with one of those. That's one of those pyramid things. And I didn't know. I go, Mom, what's a pyramid? She said, they're illegal. You got to give that box back. Oh. And to this day, I'll tell you what happened with my story. So my mom is eating her words back then. But then it was about 9 years later, her son was in Las Vegas, Nevada, moved there to train for a National Football League career, got to a point where I was either going to get into an NFL camp or get a job. And I was forced to go get a job and I hated it. And I got prospected into the network marketing industry by the gentleman I told you about earlier, Warren Rosegreen. Yeah. And he introduced me to the first company in the world that had this product right here that you and I are doing, video streaming. We were a company before Zoom, before Skype, before YouTube. There was a little company nobody knew about, very few people ever even heard about, called VM Direct in Las Vegas. And we were the first people releasing this stuff to the world. We got paid to tell people about this really cool video streaming technology back in 2003, 4, and 5. So I got involved with that company. I met a man who made about $100 million in network marketing. So when I met him, there was nobody in the world that could tell me that this wasn't a great industry. This man had everything that you could ever want in life because of network marketing. Yeah. So when it comes to those people out there, I'll just share this with your viewers and whoever watches this recording. When it comes to the people out there that say, "Ooh, it's MLM or it's network marketing, stay away from me with that stuff," I'm going to shock you right now, Tavia. They're right. For the most part, stay away from me with that stuff. And I'll tell you why. A lot of companies don't make it. Yeah. And Tavia and I are just a part of a company 3 years ago that, in my opinion, is going to plummet because of terrible ownership and couldn't get their act together. So you put your reputation on the line like we did to go represent a product. And unfortunately, the company doesn't do what they're supposed to do. And then it looks bad on you. And then the people you introduce it say, "Oh, I told you that would never work." Here's the truth. There are very few companies in the world that make it, whether they're network marketing or traditional companies. You got to choose the right company and you got to see whether or not they're going to be the company, and nobody's Nostradamus. So you got to choose wisely. So sometimes you're with the wrong company. So what? It doesn't mean you give up the baby with the bathwater, you know? Right. I'm passionate about this industry. I think it's a beautiful industry. And even when they don't work, you get to grow and learn how to be an entrepreneur. And to me, there's no better college than starting your own home-based business.
Oh gosh. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because not to bring up what's the big P word, C word that's going on right now, but let's think about college students right now. My goddaughter, she's in college right now. Well, actually she paused it because of what was kind of going on, and she actually is in real estate. Yay. She's a big entrepreneur too, takes after me. Anyways, but yeah, listeners, viewers out there who are like, God, do I go to college? Do I do a home-based business? What route do I go? It's so confusing right now, really. I really feel for the younger generation, but you touched on something about that. You were a young generation way back when. Way back when. I'm not going to picture that old. You're not that old. You and I are the same age, I believe. We're in our 40s. Anyways, but that wasn't too long ago, 20 years ago, whatever. Anyways, but things have changed. Let's be honest. Things have changed in the sense of the direction, I feel in some ways. And so, you touched on some, you were a kid and you did all this entrepreneur, and a lot of people, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think everybody should be an entrepreneur. No, I'm just going to say it. I don't think it's not for everybody. You gotta have tough skin. You gotta have some grit. You gotta have some motivation, and the other word that I want to lead into is the passion, right? Have passion about something. So like if a younger generation right now, like, what are you passionate about? And if you could give some advice to some, 20 something year old who's out there and like, Michael, what do I like? Find your passion, right? Did you have passion for anything? What were you passionate about? What drove you?
So it makes me think of what I would call a power quote. I have lots of quotes that I've gathered from my journey through network marketing, which led to personal development. So very much like Tony Robbins, who read 600 books by the time he was 21 or 18 years old. I've got tons of books that I've read and a lot on my shelf that I've never read, but they sure look good when people walk in. But I've read a lot of books that changed my life. And you basically, if you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. It's a great quote. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So the advice for the young person and even the older person, my age, I'm 47 years old. My advice is find something that you love to do and do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing worse than punching a clock and working for somebody else and hating everything you do on a daily basis just to come home after 8 or 10 hours, exhausted, make some food, sit on a couch, watch your favorite TV show, go to bed, wake up, do it all over again, over and over and over. Today was exhausting for me. I've told I had to put this Zoom off with Tavia because I was busy at the time she wanted to do it this morning at 10 or 11 a.m. And we luckily found this window to be together, and I miss you. So I wanted to hang out with you anyways.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. But, I'm exhausted. I've been on Zoom after Zoom, call after call, and you hit it on the head. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. Mm-mm. But if you're anything like me, I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big thinker. So much so that a lot of people in my life, you would say things like, what are you doing now? I was an actor. I featured on the TV show CSI, episode 14, To Have and to Hold. I played an exotic dancer named Darren Pine, who gets killed at the end of the show by the fiance of the woman who he married earlier in the show. And it was a great experience. I had a record deal. I had met a friend years ago in the year 1999, 2000, who had a lot of money, and his father was very successful. And he heard me sing one day and he goes, holy cow, you can sing. I go, yeah, I'm not that good. And he goes, no, you're really good. And at the time I was really fit. So I kind of looked like an Italian Ricky Martin. Yeah. Well, within 2 weeks, Tavia, I had a record deal. So I signed with Universal Records and I put out a solo project that was about 2 weeks away from being released. And I was this close to being, a one-hit wonder, like pop star, like not like Justin Timberlake, because I love him.
I want to hear this. You got to share this.
I'm not that good. You don't trust me. It's not that good. But what I'm getting at is I've always done things that I love.
Yeah. Right.
And I've done well too in network marketing. That one of the things I did well, and I made a little bit of money in acting. I made a little bit of money here and there, but I made a lot of money in network marketing. So I'll just say this about me, and hopefully you can say this about yourself too, is if things don't work out, my mother always told me, Michael, when one door closes, another door opens.
All the time.
There's a famous Leanne Womack song, and it says just that. When one door closes, another door opens. I forget all the lyrics to the song, but it's a beautiful song. And I think of my mom every time I hear it. And she's always reminded me that life's going to kick you in the ass, but there's going to be another door that's going to open up for you. Yeah. And you know what? I don't hate to say it. I love my mom. She's been right the whole time. Doors always open for the person who wants them to open. But when you sit in misery and you feel sorry for yourself and you lay in your room or your house with the lights off and you don't think anything's going to happen for you, well, nothing will happen for you when you live under a rock. So my advice to answer your question for the young person right now is, if you want to go to college, go to college. I would never put down the college institution, what you can learn. I learned a great deal in college.
Me too.
I experienced college football, which was incredible. Yeah. But at that time in my life, I didn't know what else to do. Yeah. Now, the one thing I don't like about college is that you rack up about $150,000 in student loans. Yeah. And that college degree, that piece of paper, isn't really worth what you think it's worth when you're going through school for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you rather do? Start a home-based business or go to college? It's a tricky question. It's all up to that person.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Yeah. No, I'm with you there too. I went to college. By the way, I didn't ask you, what college did you go to?
Buffalo State College.
Buffalo State. Okay. Gotcha. And what did you major in? What was your?
So I was a graphic designer and an illustrator in college. So I found a way to just having fun in college, like drawing all day long was fun for me. So I got to draw and play on computers and create logos and do caricatures of my college teachers and put them in to submit for a grade I failed, stuff like that.
That's funny. That's awesome. So, okay. So we're going to fast forward a little forward here. So some great info, some great little tips and insights that you've shared. But what I want to fast forward to is kind of what your new project is, because you've dabbled in acting and music and everything like that, and MLM or network marketing, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But just recently you have a new project that you just took on. And I'm so excited to hear about this. And this is going to be, this is groundbreaking, guys.
Nobody knows.
This is like
this August 2nd, 2021. This is cool stuff.
This is really cool stuff. So
what I didn't tell you in my things that I do in my life and have done is 12 years ago, I invented a game on the internet called the ZFC. It's called myzfc.com, myzfc.com. I'm passionate about football. Mm-hmm. I invented a game. It's a pick the winners game with a twist. It's so much fun. It's so cool. And people in my world know me because every football season, I tell people, jump on the website, sign up, and let's compete weekly. And you can compete with me and Tavia if you want to as well. It's free. It's fun. It's simple. It's strategic. It's super cool. Yeah. Well, because of that background and my network marketing background, a good friend of mine met a gentleman who owns a company called Super Draft, like Super Bowl and DraftKings. So Super Draft. And I use that analogy because it's very much like FanDuel and DraftKings. 2017, they created an app on your phone. Yep. You log in and you can make some gambling bets on the sports and the fantasy football and all that stuff. Well, it was about 4 months ago, they decided to add a division to their Super Draft company where they wanted people to go out there and tell other people about it. And they want to pay them to go out there and be the advertisement. If you know anything about that world, it's very expensive to get a player. It costs $200 to acquire a player in fantasy sports right now. FanDuel, DraftKings spend $100 million a month on advertisement. There's still companies that are not even in the black yet. They're still in the red right now, as big as they are. So this gentleman, Mr. Steve Wang, wanted to do something different. He wanted to add a little backdoor component where the players tell other players, and they get paid when they tell other players. And when the player you tell about the game wins a game, you get paid too in certain situations, called a winner's match.
That's fun.
Stuff that's right up my alley. And my friend connected me to them. And now I'm the vice president of direct sales and training for the company.
Wow.
Tavia, I get to take everything that I'm passionate about in this whole world. And I get to be the guy who drives a network of soon to be thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people globally. You have to pinch me right now. I'm dreaming they're paying me an incredible salary to be that man. And I get to go out there and do what I love every single day.
That's so cool. I can't wait to learn more about this. Yeah, this is something. So this is open to the public soon?
It is. Yep. It's open to the public right now.
Oh, it's right now. Okay. Gotcha. So is it it's like a fantasy football type of,
Yeah,
is that what
yeah.
you're basically? Yeah.
Exactly. Fantasy
Yeah.
football. So
Yeah.
all the different fantasy games, and we innovate and we create new games. And maybe one day the game that I told you I invented will be inside of this app, which by the way, it will be. They promised me when they made the offer to me that within this year we will develop that game as a potential game module. I can't guarantee it, but a potential game module inside their app, which is really cool.
Manifest that, make that happen.
Oh, it's happening. I've been manifesting it for 12 years.
That's amazing.
It's happening because of what I started 12 years ago.
So this is something like all those, I have a ton of friends that do fantasy football, a ton. And super, everybody. And football season starting like what, next week or week after it's starting?
Preseason starts soon. Then we get about 4 weeks before the regular season. All you got to do is it's only $40 to be a member for the year if you want to be what they call a coach. It's nothing. You'll hear about it tonight. We're doing a Zoom. I invited you to. And then it's $25, $50, or $100 a month to get on a subscription. So you can compete in these free entries every single day. That's it.
So this is like fantasy football. You can play, you can win. Can you set up your teams? And I mean, there's probably a lot to this that we can talk another time about, but so this is just another fun thing that you are in the process. Well, you're not in the process. You are in it.
I'm in it.
You're in it. You're doing it. That's so cool. Yeah. So, wow. another mark on your, what is it? Just another check mark.
Just another chapter in the book, right?
So, okay. So we're doing this. And then you're still doing network marketing?
I am still with a company called Modere.
Okay, right. Modere is awesome. I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're incredible. They're a $500 million company right now. Unfortunately, I can't put a full-time effort into it, but I take their products every day. They've got collagen that makes you look younger and helps your skin. And just incredible non-toxic, organic, healthy products, healthier than probably what you currently have in your house and on your shelf right now. And I met the company and I just said, I wish I would have found this company 20 years ago. But the truth was, this company wasn't this company 20 years ago. So you find things when you find things,
Exactly. Yeah. And when you find things, you find things. And let's touch on that for a second too. And I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe if you're listening to this podcast today, maybe you could get a little nugget of information from Mr. Michael Zappia, and maybe it will inspire you to create your next level of entrepreneurship, whatever the next level is for you. I'm passionate. Yeah. I'm so passionate about what I do as a health coach. And I'm actually going to be going back to school and up-leveling myself. That you just heard it here for folks. First, I'm going to be going back and up-leveling myself a little bit more too.
How great is that?
Yeah. If I could be a professional student for the rest of my life, I probably would. I love to learn, not necessarily
learner you are. Good for
you. And what I do though is I take it and I apply it as fast as I can. That's what my goal. Apply it as fast as I can because time's ticking. There's no time like now, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Time. It's been 3 years since we met a long time ago, and a lot has changed, like you mentioned, and I feel like if you're sitting on the fence, if you're out there sitting on the fence, like just shaking your head and back and forth, like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do with my life. It goes back to what you said. And it was like finding your passion, finding, what you love, do what you love, right? Do what you love. And like I would say you love many things. You dabbled in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes things to dabble in to find what you love, too. So again, going back to who are you? Like, what do you say when people are just, what did you say to kind of end this out? What someone says, who's Michael Zappia? Who are you?
I'm a father. I've got a beautiful son. Yeah. I got a beautiful son named Anzio who
adorable.
5 years. He is so beautiful. He is. He's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. So who I am first and foremost is I'm a father.
Yeah.
And, I have a responsibility to be the best father that I possibly can be and treat his mother the way that she deserves to be treated because she's his mom. He's not going to get another one. And if you know anything about relationships, it can be difficult. It's been a long, difficult road. And then I'm really just a jack of all trades, lover of people. I love sports. I love athletics. I love healthy eating, although I like to eat bad as well. I think we all do. And, Yeah, that's about it. I'm not very difficult. I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. What you see is what you get, is what my friend Ron Williams likes to say. He's an incredible friend and ex-executive in the network marketing industry that I've grown very fond of over the past few years since we met.
Great guy.
But he sums me up probably better than most. He says, when Michael speaks, it's like surround sound. He says, and energy doesn't lie. He's like this all day, every day. And I've worked with him for 2 years and he never changes. What you see is what you get. And I don't make any apologies about that. I've certainly screwed up in my life and made many, many mistakes. But I value relationships big time. I think meeting new people is the spice of life. I met you, Tavia. We're never letting go of this relationship. We've always been in touch for 3 years now. Sometimes we distance ourselves a little bit, but we're on Facebook, always seeing what each other's doing. And that's me. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I just want to make the biggest difference that I can while I'm here in the world. And one last thing, I'm a Christian. Yeah. I love Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. I don't know what your religious beliefs or your spiritual beliefs are, but I would feel like I just robbed him of his due. Every gift, every talent, every ounce of energy, every bit of strength that I have in my body is completely powered and fueled by God. And
absolutely.
And I love Jesus, and leading people down that path is my ultimate responsibility in this world.
Right. And I want to touch on that too. One of the things I too am a Christian, and I support whatever you believe out there that's listening. Obviously, everybody's got their own beliefs, and that's amazing. Whatever you believe in it, and believe in it with passion, and believe in, and I hope it's driving you, because it drives me, and I know it drives you, but that's my driver's seat for sure. Is him. So
he takes the wheel, Tavia. I'm just doing the best I can to be a co-pilot right now. Right. Every time I try and figure things out and do it myself, they never work out. So years ago, I just said to God, even when the bad things happen, I just say, Romans 8:28, all things happen, if you know the scripture, but I'm letting him lead right now and take over my voice, my actions and everything else. And I know that I can't go wrong if he's leading.
Absolutely. 100%. Amen to that. Well, awesome. Well, we will conclude here. Again, thank you so much for being on my show. I just want to tell the listeners out there that I hope that you get a little nugget of information, a little nugget of inspiration from Mr. Michael. So he is a mover and a shaker in this world. And if you want more information about the super draft that's coming up and how you can get involved in that, oh my gosh, I will put a link below, and I will make sure you get that information for sure. If you have any questions regarding getting into network marketing, he would be an amazing resource as well, and give you some input and output of the do's and don'ts, because you're kind of a master at knowing what is good, what is bad. You talked about, when you find a company, find one, do your research, obviously, because there are some can happen. Some things can happen. But anyways. All right. Well, any last notes, anything to the listeners you want to say before we?
I hope that I push the button of just one person who watches this recorded content that Tavia is so generously putting out to the world. I think it's a great show, but I hope that I push your button today. I'll just say this: so long as you work for other people, all you'll do is make other people richer and richer and richer. I've seen it my whole life. My parents worked for other people and made them a lot of money. And I learned at a young age that the only way to truly create wealth, the only way to truly create financial freedom is for you to step out there and be an entrepreneur. So if I can give you one bit of advice, it's go ahead and be a nonconformist and go do what you love to do and do it better than anybody else. And you probably will never have to worry about money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, you heard it there, folks. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you again for being on my show. And I will see you on the next episode, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks, Tavia.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
You've been listening to the Sweet Life Coaching Podcast. To learn more about the topics mentioned on today's show, please visit sweetcoachtavia.com.